Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Live Laughter Happiness. Today we have my co-host, Kelly. Are you there, Kelly?
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
And we also have my co-host, Barbara. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Okay. Now, our guest today is Rob Gutro. He is an author, paranormal investigator, and inspired ghost tracking of Maryland. You can receive messages from ghosts or spirits which have crossed over. And you've written books like Pets of the Afterlife and Ghosts and Spirits, you know. I guess, this wasn't why I brought you on, but this turned into the reason, I guess. About literally hours ago, my co-host Kelly, who takes care of exotic animals, it would take her, she would probably be able to tell her all the animals she has better than I could, but one of her animals, Carl, which is a dragon, passed on, and she's been posting it on her Facebook and everything, and it's been a real rough thing for her. You mentioned that you knew how to have people communicate or look for signs from their pets that have passed on. Am I right in saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
And thank you for having me back.
Thank you. Thanks for coming back. Now, Kelly, why don't you tell us a little bit about the day? And we're sorry for your loss, but we figure this might help. This show might ease some of the pain. So go on. Just take your time to talk.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Carl was a very special rescue for me. A friend of mine had rescued him from really bad conditions. He was 5 or 6 years old, and he had been kept in a tank previously where he only had like the red spotlight for heat and no UV, and he was only fed crickets like once a week and didn't have any water. So it really took a toll on him by the time he was rescued. And she had him for a few months.
Sorry.
What? And so she realized that she needed more help than what she could do, and I was able to take him to the vet. So I took over on care, which also included giving him liquid medicines, liquid calcium, liquid foods, Pedialyte, juices, and taking him in weekly for vitamin shots because he was so deficient. And his body, like today, it was markedly worse. His condition was so much worse than yesterday. And the shots would revive him for a short period of time. But he was just so dehydrated, it was unreal. And they'd given him subcutaneous fluids yesterday, and I was constantly giving him syringes, but his body was shutting down. And I had talked to a different animal communicator, and I didn't want to let Carl down if he was still struggling to survive and wanted to live, but she let me know he was only doing that for me because he knew that it would hurt when he left. And so, he was ready, and so I didn't want to, selfishly try to keep him going for myself if he was ready to go. And, that was one of the hardest things I've had to do this year was, say goodbye because I know how hard he tried to hang on. And it was like taking care of a baby with all the feedings and things. And so, he's been a really big blessing, and I really hope that I can, in his name, help rescue more. Or actually, what I would really like to do is to educate more so that we can have less need for rescuing. But is there anything that you're picking up from him or any of the other animals that I've had?
Well, it seems like first of all, it seems like you have a whole menagerie on the other side.
Yes,
So,
I do.
and there are. I'm getting that there are several dogs. There are a couple of cats. Did you have a rabbit also?
I didn't, but my friend did.
Okay, well then that's your friend's rabbit that I'm picking up on.
Oh.
So tell your friend that their rabbit came through today.
Cool.
And what they're all conveying to me is gratefulness. Gratefulness. Our pets are always very grateful when we take care of them, and that's the first thing that they are aware of. I can tell you that that Carl really understood all of the things that you did to nurse him back to health, that action created a bond of love between the two of you, and that's what's going to keep you together, so that when you cross over, when it's your time, Carl will be waiting there along with the rest of the animals.
Oh, good. Good. Oh, gosh, I hope so. Yeah, I know.
So what happens, just so you know what happens, and for your listeners, as a medium, I've learned that what happens after we pass away, and this goes for animals as well as people, is that our memories, personality, and our knowledge from this life couple with the energy that runs within our body, like blood pumping and thoughts and so forth. And then we choose to either stay here earthbound as a ghost, which 95% of people do not do, or we cross over into the light. And 99% of animals cross into the light. And I can tell you that I can feel already that Carl has already crossed over, even though he passed yesterday, because the other animals that are attached to you were there waiting for him to encourage him to come over.
Oh, good. He's not alone. Oh, good.
Did he pass today?
Yeah, he was on his way out yesterday, but he completely passed today. I had them give him a shot, and it really took only a few minutes because he was in such bad shape. But, I think he was, hanging on until he knew that it was okay.
And your feelings on that are exactly right. So what happens too often with our pets is that they sometimes keep their illness to themselves because they know that it would be stressful for us. And I think that that's what he was trying to do. So he was trying to hold on for you as long as he possibly could, because he knew that when his passing happened, it would be traumatic to you.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Yep. That's so Carl. That is so Carl. Well, I'm glad that he's there and he's not by himself, and that he knows these things.
So what he wants you to do is he wants you to just remember the time that you had together, and also because you're such a very sensitive, caring person, he'd like you to try and rescue another animal or like him, another lizard that wouldn't have a chance otherwise.
Oh.
And that would be a great way to honor him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it has to be
this now?
But it has to be on your time. It has to be when you're ready. So pets often like us to rescue other pets, but it has to be when we're ready. And sometimes they will lead us to the next pet that we adopt. So for a couple of weeks, you may not hear of another lizard that's looking for a home, and then suddenly you'll hear that there is another lizard, and somebody will ask you if you will take the lizard in. Know that at that time that is Carl that arranged that to happen.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Wow. That is awesome. Yeah, that would be so Carl, too. Yeah. And, I don't know, it was kind of funny. I was driving, and all of a sudden I went to use the turn signal, and the wipers came on, and I was holding him on my shirt, and I'm like, okay, Carl, that's really funny, and then the windshield wipers turned off, and I didn't do anything. So, he's always been like a little bit of a joker, so I kind of thought that might have been his little influence on that.
Well, but he was still alive at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would have been somebody else in spirit that was giving you that sign that it was time for him.
Oh, okay. Now, is there anything else that he wants me to know?
No, only the feelings of deep appreciation for everything that you did, and especially attending to his health.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Now, I don't know if we want to go on to Barbara or if we want to go for signs from the pets that have passed on, or other gifts that people have they're different, may not realize.
We have,
but
if we have a caller, but I mean, or did you want to go? Or Barbara, did you want to say something, or did you want to go with a caller?
Why don't we take a caller, and then we can go.
Okay.
I'll ask about my pet.
Okay, give me 1 second here. Let's see here. Okay, this is an old friend of ours. Hello, Vanessa Orr.
Hello, how are you all?
Hi.
Hey, how are you all? Well, I'm honored to call in, and I'm honored to meet Rob, and I'm sorry about Carl.
Thank you so much.
Well, I always learn a lot calling into your show, and I always learn a lot being on the show. And Rob, how are you? My name is Vanessa Orr. I have a question.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Vanessa.
Nice to meet you, Rob. I have a barn, and I built it just 10 years ago. And I know they're not making new land, but I went out, and I'm very familiar with paranormal. I went out to feed the horses. It was probably not quite a week ago, and I had an orb come out of one of the stalls and attack me. The orb was probably the size of a bowling ball. It was white, Rob, and on its left-hand side, it had red and black. Can you give me any insight on that?
Did you have a horse that passed in that stall?
Oh, good one. It was the next stall over. His name was Pi Squared.
Okay. I'm getting the sense that it was a horse. And I have to be honest with you. Normally, I just don't do on-the-spot readings because it takes a lot of concentration. But there's a strong sense that it was a horse. That's why I asked you if it was a horse and not a cow or anything else, or a donkey. And normally when you see orbs, anything that's a white light is typically not really an orb, but because this one had colors in it, orbs have colors and designs in them. That's how you know the difference between an orb and a reflection or a bug or something like that. So this is definitely that I'm definitely getting the sense of a horse that you cared for. And that just wants to let you know that they're still very much alive in the afterlife and walking around in the barn and checking things for you.
Oh, that's very nice. That was a great horse. Okay. I did have another orb question. I have another house up in Illinois. I'm in Texas. And I heard people washing dishes in the kitchen about 5:30 one morning. So I got up and I went out I thought it was my sister-in-law, but there was no one out there, Rob. And there was an orb the size of a beach ball at the opposite end of the house sitting outside my sister-in-law's bedroom, and everyone was asleep, as you might guess. Do you pick up anything about that orb? And I could explain to you what colors I saw, but maybe you can see that.
No, I'm actually not getting anything about that particular orb. But what I will tell you, though, is at the time, if you were thinking of somebody, or if it was around a birthday, anniversary, or holiday that's connected to somebody, that typically would answer the question of whom it may be.
Right. Okay. Okay, Rob. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for calling in.
Right.
Thank you,
okay,
Vanessa.
Thanks. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, Barbara, you had some questions about some animals.
Yes. I had a dog named Penny, and we got her when I was 4. She was the best family dog. We loved her so much. Then my brother and I, we left the house. You know, you grow up. She was still alive. Left her there with my mother. I always felt so bad that we had to leave Penny because her whole life she had my brother and I and followed us on our bikes and was the sweetest, the Singy Terrier dog. Oh, the greatest family dog. And how is she feeling? This is so long ago, like 30 years ago she passed away. Were her feelings hurt when she had to see us go and we just come back for a visit? And then my mom had to put her down to sleep. She drove her once to the vet and couldn't do it, drove back. You know, that's how painful it was. This dog lived to 18 years. So, you know how painful that can be to have to put your dog down and make that decision. So she finally did it. And I just want to know how Penny is.
Okay, Barbara, well, first of all, it doesn't matter how long someone has been gone, because on the other side there is no time. It's all timeless. Time is something that was conceived here on Earth because we had to explain how the days move. On the other side, everybody is really just energy, so there is no day and night.
Okay.
The other thing, too, is that anybody who's on the other side that we know in this life, will always be waiting for us until it's our time. So we don't come back until everybody that we know in this life has crossed over. But we do come back. We do try it all over again.
Really?
So,
okay, that's interesting.
Yep. So she will be waiting for you in the light. The other thing, too, that Spirit always tells me, and this would hold true in this case, too, is that they read our energy, so they knew that you had other responsibilities and that you felt regret leaving her, but she understood that you had things to do. Our pets are much more intuitive than we think they are. So, for instance, if you think about this, do you have a dog now or a cat now?
No, I have a cat now.
Okay. So if you think about this, when you come home, this is more noticeable in dogs, of course, but cats are also very sensitive to it. They can read our emotions. They know when we're happy. They know when we're sad. They know when we're angry, certainly. They go in the other room. You know, they know when we have to go out because they watch us. They get excited when we come back. They know when we're sick because they always try to pay more attention to us. So dogs and cats, other animals, they pay attention to our emotions and our energy level. So your dog totally understood that you had to move on and do other things in your life and does not want you to have any regrets for that, because because she knew that she was loved.
Okay, and that we took such good care of her, like you were saying about Kelly's animal. She was grateful for that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so I shouldn't have
when
any regrets or bad feelings, and I should look forward to being able to see her again. How wonderful is that, having a great family dog when I pass, waiting for me?
That is absolutely the way she wants you to feel.
Oh, what is she doing right now? What do these dogs do? They play with other dogs or make friends, or what do they do? Is she with my other cat, Saffron, that passed away?
Well, so here's the thing, is that we always try to liken it to an earthly thing, but they're really energy. So they get to explore wherever they want to go and do whatever they want to do.
Okay.
Often they will connect to people either in spirit and stay with them in spirit, or they will connect to somebody who's living on Earth and come back from time to time to either try to give them a message or protect them.
Wow, so
and
they
she
can come
seems to
back
be pretty
like that.
protected.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between your ghosts and spirits, because ghosts, people or pets who choose to stay earthbound, usually are stuck in the place of their choosing. Wherever they choose to stay earthbound, that's where they're stuck, and they can't move from there. But spirits who cross over can meet you anywhere, anytime, any place. They can go on vacation with you. They can go drive in a car with you. They can go anywhere.
And those would be animals, too, that could do that as well?
Absolutely.
And
Why
it's just their
would anyone choose to be earthbound? Is it fear?
Why do they not cross over sometimes?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very good question. As a paranormal investigator, I've learned by talking to people a lot of reasons why they don't cross over. The main one is, in fact, fear. I've also learned that people who are the most dedicated to their religion are the ones that are the most fearful what may happen to them on the other side. So they opt to stay behind as a ghost. And that's the wrong thing to do, because the other side is just full of positive energy and love and forgiveness.
Oh.
Yeah. Interesting. The ones that are not supposed to be fearful because they're supposed to be able to go be with their maker are the ones that usually are the majority, you're saying.
That's exactly right. It's ironic. But and the reason for that is that what happens when we pass away, we have an awakening about kind of a life review, like everything that we did in our life comes back to our memory. So for people who are super religious, they may think that even lying to someone in their life would not allow them to cross over or be punished.
Oh, right.
And that's totally not true. It's totally not true. Everybody needs to cross over, and there's nothing to be afraid of on the other side. When we get to the other side, what I've also learned is that people create their own kind of hell on the other side. So, I don't think that there is a place called hell. It's a mental torture that we put ourselves through, trying to forgive ourselves for anything we did in the earthly life.
That's true. So they're worried that I've committed sins, so I don't want to go over and get punished.
Exactly. There's a lot of incredible stuff that I've learned talking to dead people.
Oh, yeah?
I have a question.
What was your first experience? How old were you when you first were able to do that?
I was 13 years old, and it was totally unexpected. I was alone I was home with a family dog, and it was in July, and I remember sitting in one room in the kitchen and drawing comic books. I used to making draw my own comic books. And two rooms away, my grandfather appeared to me. His form started to come together, and the room was dark. It was about 9 o'clock at night, and the light came together and formed his appearance. I grabbed the dog and I ran outside. I was totally petrified. And it turned out to have a couple of significant. There were two significant things going on there. Number one, it turned out that he appeared around the time of his birthday, and that's when spirits appear: birthdays, anniversaries, and holidays. And number two, he was trying to tell me that he had crossed over and he was okay. And number three, he was also trying to tell me that I had this gift. It turned out when my parents came home, I told my mother and father, and my mother revealed at that time she had the gift too.
Wow. That's so nice that they believed you. Can you imagine if they didn't, how frustrating that would have been?
Yeah, it would have been very frustrating. And so many people unfortunately go through that. So many children.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I had an experience too, and it was so real. It was physical too. I totally believed in it. But every person I told, they really did believe it. They were surprisingly open, but that happened in my 20s. So then, after that, did you just start studying more about your gift?
No, in fact, quite the opposite. I kind of ignored it. And as I went through life, when you're a teenager, you have a lot of things you want to focus on, like where you're going to go to college and what you want to do and so forth. So I got lost in life. I got caught up in life. And over time, things started to happen. And when my puppy passed away in 2005, he reawakened all of my abilities because he became the world's best canine communicator from the afterlife.
Wow. And were you just so surprised again, but then you remembered what had happened in your earlier life, and you just seemed more into it at the time, or interested in it at the time, or what?
Well, I really couldn't avoid all the things he was doing after he passed. So I just realized that it was a natural progression for me to be able to communicate with people or pets who passed, and I wrote everything down, and that's how I wrote my first book.
And what was your first book?
The first book was called Ghosts. No, actually, the first book was called Ghosts and Spirits, which had a whole chapter about my dog Buzz. And Ghosts and Spirits also had haunted locations that I went to, and how my dad helped me prove to my family that he was in his own wake and his own funeral.
Wow.
Whoa.
So there's all kinds of things in there. So what I used to do is I used to go to, when I first realized that my abilities were reawakened, I would go to historic mansions, and then I would try and sense if there was an earthbound ghost. And if I sensed somebody, I would go talk to the historian of the house, and every time I did, I proved who the person was that I was talking to. That's how I knew that my abilities were getting much better.
Wow. I had a similar experience actually. I was at a friend's house, and we kept hearing these thumps, and it sounded like a dragging chair and then a loud thump. And he went up into the attic, and nothing was there. But then I started to get a very emotional feeling and like vivid pictures of like a lady in her early 20s hanging herself. And he asked his landlord and said, well, yeah, there was a lady that hung herself up there like in the 1970s. And I could feel her. I could feel that she was earthbound. And this was around the holidays. And I could tell that she went through a lot of despair, like she was pregnant and her boyfriend had left her, things like that. and she just had become sick, and so I invited her to come join us in spirit with the holidays, and then at a certain point I let her know that she was loved and cared about, and that it was okay if she wanted to go ahead and cross over to the other side, that she was going to be okay. And she was like really afraid to, but she eventually did. And then all the weird things that were happening in the house stopped, because she used to like yank down my friend's covers because he was a guy, and apparently he was appealing to her, things like that. And he would feel like she had touched him, things like that. So, yeah, it was really nice to be able to help somebody out on that level. And, there was more than just myself, experiencing these things. So, yeah, it was a really nice experience. But then I also found that there was a spirit of an older lady up there that hadn't passed. She was kind of like the caregiver of the house, and she was keeping his plant alive, and he hadn't watered it in like 2 years. So when he went to move and he took the plant with, it immediately died. But I had sensed that she had died up in the attic too. And when he talked to his landlord, there was an old lady that got trapped up there, and she died of heat, exposure, because it got really hot in the attic, and somehow the door had gotten locked and she couldn't get out. So she was the caregiver.
Wow, that's pretty amazing take on those entities. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'd like to, we have a caller. Are you okay with us taking a caller?
Yeah.
Okay. Robin, you're on the air.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah. Thanks for
Hello.
calling.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm honored to be able to talk to all of you, and I wanted to see, my girl Bassett Helms died just about 4 weeks ago. Not quite, I guess just a couple weeks ago, and I was thinking I was going to put off getting another dog for about a year, but something's telling me that maybe she was already born again, but I don't know that it works that way. Could you give me some advice on that?
Sure. Thanks for calling in. So when our pets pass, they always help us pick out the next pet that they want us to adopt, if they want us to adopt another pet. Mm-hmm. So as I was mentioning earlier to Kelly, that her lizard Carl will present to her a situation where she may hear that another lizard needs a home. Mm-hmm. So you may get the inspiration in a different way. You may have heard that there is, you had a dog that passed, is that correct?
Yes. Okay.
So you may hear from somebody that there's a dog that needs an adoption, or perhaps the same breeder, or someone in the lineage of your dog's line is having puppies, or you may be driving by a shelter and you may be urged to go in, and then you will find your dog will lead you to the dog that you're supposed to adopt. So I'll share with you a story from my book, Pets in the Afterlife 2, where a woman had written me, and she said that her dog named Bullet had passed away. And she told me that she absolutely did not want to adopt another dog and would not adopt another dog, not for quite some time. Well, a couple of weeks later, after Bullet passed away, she was driving past the SPCA shelter, and she said something made her turn into the parking lot. So she decided to get out, and she didn't know why she turned in the parking lot. Well, it turns out that Bullet was with her in the car and nudged her to pull over in the parking lot. Long story short, she went in the shelter. She walked down the row of cages. She came to a dog at the very end. She crouched down and she fell in love with the dog. And when she went to look at the dog's name was Trigger. Now,
Oh my gosh.
that's how she knew exactly that she was led to that dog. Now, Bullet and Trigger, for those listeners who may not know, are the two horses of Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. So she knew right then that was the dog she needed to adopt, and that's how it works with Spirit.
Okay. Because I've been trying to stay really in tune with her, and suddenly I feel like the communication is shut down. I'm not getting the same colors that I would get when it felt like she was near kind of a blue, like almost like a black light, purpley blue that, I don't know, whenever I'd close my eyes and felt a sense of her, there was that color that showed up, which I don't know if that means anything, but lately I haven't been getting anything like that. And then, but I have gotten an image of this puppy walking toward me 2 different times, the same dog. And so I just, I don't know if it's my ego or if this is really the good stuff. And so I love that you're a scientist also, because I like the proof in things when it's just undeniable. And so I didn't know if you had any suggestions for me to communicate with
sure,
her
I want to jump in. Didn't you say you had a picture of the sky? Sorry, just thought, I wonder what he would think of that.
Oh, all good. Yeah, the day that she passed, I went to around the corner to a park to meditate from the vet, and she was not put down yet. And I didn't want to see her get another needle in her little arm. And so I said my goodbyes and my thank yous to her. And then I just went right around the corner to a little park and sat in my car to meditate, and was really discouraged because I felt nothing, I saw nothing. And as I was starting the ignition, I looked out my sunroof and I got a picture of it. It is a 3D image of her bone structure, everything in the clouds. And so that was really powerful and comforting for me that anybody recognizes her in these pictures. I mean, I can show the picture and people see my dog immediately. And that feels great. So that's where I don't know how to separate what's my ego and is just making up stuff, or if there's really something that I'm experiencing from the other side.
Well, that's a very good question. And the answer to that question is that when you feel that she or someone is around you and you see something to correlate that feeling, then they are in fact there.
Okay.
So
can you give me an example by any chance?
Sure. When my dog Sprite passed away, I asked my dad and our friend Ed to be there at the vet's office and help Sprite cross over. And I felt 2 hands on either elbow. And I knew that my dad was behind me and our friend Ed was behind me, and they were going to help Sprite cross. So the next day, of course, being a scientist, like you said, I want proof. Granted, I felt them and I knew they were there and I sensed them, but I wanted proof. So the next day we were out and we found 2 pennies. And spirits use pennies often or coins to convey their appearance around you, or their presence around you. So the 2 coins we found were dated 2008, the year my dad passed away, and 1996, the year that Ed passed away. And those are the only 2 coins we found that entire day. So that was confirmation.
Wow.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of chilling, really.
Yeah,
yes.
Definitely. All right.
It's
so I know
Robin.
that. Well, and I think I heard you say that you don't do readings on the spot. So I don't know what I can ask, but so I don't know if you can even answer this, but are there signals I should be looking out for, or is there, I don't know, I guess the coins
sure.
and
There are, but one of the easiest ways that anybody can look for a sign or get a sign is to ask your pet or person to come into your dreams.
Okay.
And that would be over the course of within 2 weeks. Your dog is giving me the numbers 5, 3, 1, and I don't know what that means. It's either a date or it's a time. It may be that if you set your alarm for 5:31, you may wake up from a dream of her. Dogs and cats can usually give dates or numbers or something that's significant to them or you or a time that you'll see them or hear them.
Okay.
So 5:31. Do you get up before 5:30 in the morning?
I get up at 5:30, and it's probably 5:31. But I also I'm trying to do the math. That might have been the day she died. I'd have to look at my calendar.
Okay.
So maybe I'll put you on speaker and do that.
So I can't really interpret what the 5:31 is. That's up to you to interpret. So if you typically get up at 5:31, what that may mean is that you may wake from a dream of her.
Okay. So yeah, she died the week before, so that wasn't the connection. But I'll keep searching for it.
So when did you get her? Did you get her ashes?
I didn't. Not to.
Okay. So 5:31 may be the day that they actually
did the cremation.
Did the cremation? Yeah.
That's very possible. I wonder if that should be something that I could check in with the vet about, since I'm one of those that likes the proof too.
Yeah, but since you said you get up around 5:30, it probably is more related to your time of
okay.
waking up. That's
and
really
so you were
odd.
saying that I'm waking up, from dreaming, and so that's why you were guessing maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
So before you go to bed
yeah,
every
and what
night,
are the odds that I wake up
dreams.
that time? Okay.
Right. Yeah. Ask her to come into your dreams every night before you go to bed. And eventually, usually over the course of 2 weeks, they manage to do it.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
That's nice.
I'll definitely try
look
that.
forward to. That is. That'll be nice to look forward to, Robin.
Well, and it's nice to know the time, that it takes about 2 weeks, so you don't just give up.
Right.
And I know I've heard too that as you're grieving, you can't really channel the energy either when you're grieving. And so I need to get over the grieving, but that helps when you have a little more confirmation about things too. So it's kind of a catch-22.
Yes, that's a really good point too. Is that, and as I wrote in my books, Pets in the Afterlife and Pets in the Afterlife 2, is that grief blocks all signs from our loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when the spirit can be really smart, and they will go to somebody else and come into their dreams, knowing that they will tell you that they dreamed of your dog or your grandmother or somebody like that, because they can't break through to you. So they'll do that.
Wow.
One woman emailed me and she told me that she was so mad at her husband because her dog who passed only kept coming into his dreams and never into her dreams. So she would yell at him. And it wasn't his fault. It was her own fault. It was her grief blocking the dog. So,
mm-hmm.
The
I
poor
teach
dog
kindergarten, and I have a little girl that comes in and talks about the dog. And it'd be so neat for me to really get more in tune with this stuff and really work with my kindergartners, because
mm-hmm.
I'm sure some of them are indigo children or whatever you call them, and it's such a perfect age before things close off.
Sure.
When they talk about their imaginary friends and stuff like that. So I definitely will check out your books, because that's really special.
Okay, and you're always welcome to communicate with me through Facebook or my email, which is rgutro@gmail.com. So drop me a note.
Okay, great. And then you do readings, like hourly sessions, or how do you do that?
No, I don't. I so if somebody emails me a picture and a name and asks me a couple of questions, I'll be happy to try and tune in. I don't charge anything. I don't do this for a living. I'm a meteorologist, so I do it on my family time. You're welcome to do that. But it may take me a week or two to get to you because I get emails from people around the world asking me for a reading. So, but I get to them.
Well, that's incredible. That's really incredible. You share your gift like that. I'm grateful to be talking to you right now. I'm really honored.
Well, thank you. Well, we are.
Thank you.
We're all here to help each other.
Yeah. And Kelly, my love to Carl. I'm really sorry about your loss. It hurt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're going to be able to get confirmation from SidePipe, though. That's really cool.
I know I will. Yeah, that just made me burst into a huge smile, so I know that that's true. Yeah.
Oh, good.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks,
thank
Robin.
you.
Thank you for being there always for us.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Kelly, you said, I think it was last time that we were on, you said, Rob, that they tend to appear in anniversaries, holidays, and birthdays.
Yes, and birthdays.
Is that true? Okay. Can you elaborate on that? And I've also heard that they tend to leave a sign of a feather. Is that true?
Yeah, so the reason they and this goes for pets as well as people, the reason that they tend to appear at birthdays, anniversaries, and the holidays is because during those times when they're alive and we're alive, they can read the levels of our energy. So, those are times when our energy level tends to be elevated and we're happier or we're excited for some reason. And pets read that. So when we're experiencing that, even after the pet passes, because their energy now, they can still read those changes in our energy. So they know when a birthday is, they know when an anniversary is, they know when a holiday is coming up, because our energy level changes. And that's when they try to communicate and let us know that they're around.
Do they like to be with us when we're happy? Is that kind of what's going on? Or they know that we can read them better? Do they want to be read?
The pets are reading us.
Why do they come when we can read them? Because it's more enjoyable for them, they want to talk to us, or they like to be around us because we're happier?
Because they know that those are the times that we miss them the most.
So they want to comfort us?
Yes, they want to comfort us. Just like we miss people around holidays. And when your mother's birthday comes around, and my mother's birthday was yesterday, and she passed in 2013. I missed her. I was really, really missing her yesterday. So I was looking for a sign from my mother, and sure enough, last night when I was on when my husband and I were coming home from a concert, he said the exact same thing that my mother would normally say, and I said, okay, here she is.
Wow.
She's using you.
What did he say that was just like your mother?
Well, she used to have
private?
No. She used to. It's kind of a funny, goofy personal story. But she used to have this neighbor who was very jealous of her, and the neighbor would always say, "You're so lucky," and so my mother would always say that as in kind of a mean tone, because she hated that. She totally hated it. So my husband turned to me after I said that. He did know that. He did know, but he didn't remember that yesterday was my mother's birthday. She's been gone so long.
That's interesting.
So just in the gist of conversation, he turned to me and goes, "You're so lucky," and I'm like, "Who told you to say that?"
Did you just get like the chills and say? What do you do? Say, "Hi, Mom, you're
That's
here."
exactly what I
how
said.
How wonderful
yeah.
is that? What a wonderful moment.
Well, they always say that you marry your mother.
That's funny.
So that was kind of scary right there, to be honest with you.
That is hilarious. I love all of this intuitive stuff because it is there. It is real. I mean, there has to be more than just us here on Earth. I mean, it's powerful stuff. So I love
Absolutely.
when we have these guests that are, enlightening us about it. I find it just extremely fascinating and wonderful. So if we need to open ourselves up more, what kind of suggestions do you have for us to open ourselves up to be able to maybe find our gifts and use our gifts? That everybody has a little bit of the gift. Everybody does. That's what all the psychics say. But how do we find this? Or is it meditation? What would you suggest, Rob?
Well, to be honest with you, I have to be honest with you. I don't really meditate because my mind is going a million miles an hour, but it works for some people. Having a clear mind is the first step, number one.
Okay.
Number two, listen to your thoughts, because if you're suddenly thinking things that you would never know or you would not usually think about, that means that somebody's trying to give you a message. So one of the places you can do that, and people have their quiet places. So usually when I'm in the shower, I get messages. I'm just relaxing and trying to, clean up, and then I get messages in the shower. I always joke with people when I give a lecture that there have been more people in my shower than I can count. They're all dead.
Oh my gosh, I can relate. Yeah, I can relate.
So just listen to what you get.
Okay.
All right. Is it okay if we take a caller?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd be open to
Area
that.
code 313.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Great.
It's
How are
good.
you?
My name is fine. Thank you for asking. My name is Sherelle. I'm calling from Detroit, Michigan. I would just like messages from the other side, please, and thank you.
Wow. Tell us about it.
I'm sorry. Tell you about what?
Tell us. You said you heard messages from the other side. I heard you say, but I guess I heard wrong.
No, I said I would like messages from the other side, please, and thank you.
Like please and thank you. I think we've heard from you before, haven't we?
If it was a long time ago. It wasn't recently.
Okay. So you want to hear messages from the other side.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Like what? Can you be more specific of what you would like to hear?
A grandmother figure, a pet, whoever that comes, a spirit guide, anything. Anything you pick up. It don't have to be messages. Anything you pick up.
Rob, are you picking anything up?
No, I'm actually not. Because I was just thinking about our other conversation. So this is what I meant when we started the show, is that when people call in and they want kind of messages on demand, I don't really work that way, because
I could be more specific with a question.
I need to get a picture of the person. So here's how I work, because I'm not like John Edward. I don't have his level of ability. So I ask people to email me the name of the person and a picture, and then any questions. And then when I have time to sit and think about it, I can. But for someone to come over to ask me and say, who are you getting from that past, I just can't do that. That's just not
But if
the
you
way
want
that I
me
work.
to ask a general question, I can. It's not a problem. If you need me to ask a general question, if that would help out,
Sure.
I can.
Yeah.
Okay, I would just like
are cool.
regarding finances. What do you see for my finances or a new job?
Okay, so that brings up the point that we were talking about. I was talking with Kelly, Barbara, and Jonathan before we came on. So you're looking to find out how your finances are going to work out in the future. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, I'm looking for a new job, and I was wondering, do you see a new job coming up? Do you see me
any lump sum of money coming in or anything like that during that nature?
Okay, so Kelly, Barbara, and Jonathan, I guess we should have addressed this in the beginning of the show. So to the caller, I can't tell you your future, and here's the reason why. I only talk to dead people or dead pets, and
that's what I was asking.
Yeah,
when
so
I first called, I asked for messages from the other side, but you say you don't work like that. As far as me emailing you and sending you a picture and all that.
Yeah, you can do that, and I can tell you, things about them and so forth, and what their feelings are for you. But I don't.
So what do I need to do now?
So
what do I need to do now?
Well, if you want a reading about your future, you have to talk to a psychic. So psychics.
No, I don't want to read about my future. I was just asking, what do you pick up? Anything, could be anything: relationship, finances, career, health, love, anything. Just read it from the hip. I don't know how you all work.
Oh, he works.
I thought we just call in and ask a question.
No, okay. He talks to dead people. He's a medium, and all of those suggestions that you just had have nothing to do with the dead people.
Right, but when I first called in, I asked, I would like messages from the other side. That's what I specifically said when I called in. But he said he needs pictures and names and all that.
Okay, I think that we have. I think that we have a disconnect here, and I don't want to waste everybody's time on the show here. So I want to help you, but just send me an email with what you're looking for, because I can't tell you your future, and I apologize for that, but that's not my gift. I am not a psychic medium.
Rob. We should have told everybody in the beginning exactly what you do. We're sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. So psychics are the ones that can tell you your future. I've been to a psychic. Mediums only talk to dead people, and then there are other people who have a gift where they can tell when a person they know is going to pass away. That's another kind of gift. That's not a gift I want either.
You want to call it a gift? I call it I don't want to know that.
Yeah, so there are a lot of different gifts that people have that connect themselves to the afterlife or the energies that permeate the universe. Unfortunately, I don't have all of those gifts. If I were a psychic, I would know where I'm going to move when I retire. I would know what the Powerball number is going to be, but I don't know that. So
that's okay.
I wish I did.
Well, we apologize about that.
Very interesting.
We apologize about that. I guess people get misconceptions about certain things.
Well, if you'd like his email, though, if you'd like to email about the name of your pet and a picture, can you give her your email and then be able to get back with her?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Well,
I try to help. I try to help everybody I can, and again, I don't charge any money, so there's nothing in it for me. All I want to do is help people. So just rgutro@gmail.com. Send me a picture, send me the name, ask me a question, and just give me a couple of weeks to respond to you, and I'd be more than happy to do what I possibly can.
Rob, since we're winding up the show, could you please let the listeners know where we can find you on your social media?
Sure, thanks. People can go to petspirits.com or robgutro.com. I'm also on Amazon.
For your books? Can we buy your books? Can we find your books there on Amazon?
Yes, I have 5 books on Amazon. They're all under $10, and ebooks are all under $3.99 or $2.99. Again, it's a gift, and it's not an exact science. But I only do this in my spare time to try and help and comfort people. So thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for doing what you do.
We enjoyed. Thank you, Kelly, and we enjoyed this so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Johnny.